Oh yeah, what is up everybody? Welcome to the KillJoy Jake YouTube channel. My name is Matt Schuff. That's my full name, Matthew Lionel Schuff. And today we're talking a little bit about Red Right Hand, ladies and gentlemen. I have some special guests behind the scenes. We're going to talk a little bit about the film that we made a year ago today. We did the whole thing in one day. I'm so excited. We have some very fun friends behind the scenes right now, and we're going to talk some stories. Please ask questions, whatever the fuck you want to do with Red Right Hand. I don't know, man. I don't make the rules here. I guess I do, actually, kind of, right? Barb, what's up, Barb? How's it going? Thanks for being a channel member, my friend. I'll be in session at work when this goes live, but congrats on the 1-year mark. Thank you so much. Cheers to more Jake creations down the road. We're getting to it, I promise. We're working on it. But Barb, thank you so much. I appreciate your support, as well as Oliver, who just became a YouTube member. Thank you, Oliver. Thanks for the support, man. Really appreciate you. Want to say hi to a few more people, and then we're going to bring on our special guests. Hayden United is saying, hey, Jake, thank you for giving me permission to make a Red Right Hand spinoff. Hayden is working on a little spinoff to it, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. Run it, brother. Make it happen. Make it happen. Make something fun. Show your love for the Scream franchise. What's up, Ellie? How's it going? Hi, Jake. How are you? I'm fantastic. We got some special guests I'm so excited to bring on. I've said it 3 times. That's how excited I am. Oh, it's going to be so much fun tonight. Tiara Joseph is saying Stab 4 Knife of Doom is a prequel to Stabs 1 through 3. I'm into it, Tiara. We're watching it. We're making it happen. It's about Kenny the cameraman. I love it. I love it. I love him. Love him to death. Oh my God, they killed Kenny. I guess they didn't, actually. Well, no, they did. That was the one that did die. That's Scream 2. That got away. VKD, what's up, dog? How's it going? It's mostly a statement about the band itself. Hey, Matt. Love it, man. Thanks for being here, Dylan. Appreciate you. Jumpscare TV, what's up, man? I hope everyone had a good day. I appreciate your positivity, Jumpscare TV. You're not just about the jump scares on the TV. You're also about human wellness, and that makes me very happy. Sarah Campbell, the queen herself, runs through this territory. How's it going? How's it going? Howdy, hey, howdy, hey. Welcome in. Jake, do I like In-N-Out Burger? Who doesn't? Anyone on the West Coast should like In-N-Out Burger. It's not even a hot take. Anyone who's had it, I think, would enjoy it. That goes against most of the things that most of the principles I stand for on this page. Just being like, this opinion is correct. That's fucked up. El Dante, how's it going? What's up, man? Welcome in. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all y'all. Wayne Turner's here too, saying it's 11:05 a.m. Thursday here in Sydney, Australia. I am in day 2 of recovery from my ankle operation. Wayne, I hope you're doing okay, man. We heard about this. Hope you're doing good. Just not sleeping great. So tired, but no pain. I'm back to celebrate for Jake. Wayne, I really appreciate you for being here, dude. And if you got to peace out, it's all good. I hope you're feeling better after the operation, and all the love to our friends over on the other side of the entire planet. Welcome in. Marley Kai is here. Hello, boys and girls. RJ Skarenki is here, saying you really like that. I was inspired by Scream 2. Love it. Scream 2's great, man. Gotta love it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing in some guests. I first want to bring on a producer of the film, a man who, frankly, if he wasn't a part of this, it wouldn't have happened. Connor Caligaris. Thanks for being here, man. What's up, Connor?
Hi, what's going on?
We're vibing. We're talking a little Red Right Hand. How are you doing this evening? Are you excited? It's been a year since we made this crazy movie.
It's been a full year. We made that movie in one day.
We did. That is a fact. One whole day, yeah. 24 hours, one cycle. It's pretty nuts, man. No, Connor, I appreciate you for being here, man. And I appreciate your support of the film too. Seriously, I mean it to death. We couldn't have done it without you.
That's too kind. Thank you.
Hell yeah, man. I also want to bring on the lead actress of the film. She's here, everybody. Drew Thompson, or her real name, Maya Krieger. What's up, Maya?
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. As you can tell, the hair is a little different than last time you saw me.
Not as green, but I still dig it. I like the horns too.
Thank you. They're from Etsy.
I thought they were real. I thought those were just actual horns.
Yeah, I just punched a hole through my head now.
I love it though. Thanks for being here, Maya. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And ladies and gentlemen, the other writer and director of the film, the guy that sat in rooms with me while I was all sweaty and greasy all the time, made this film happen with me alongside me the whole journey. Really appreciate you, man. Matthew Schuff. What's up, dog? How's it going?
What is up? I am so happy to be here, and I'm ready to express the pain, all of the sweat, blood, tears, and other fluid substances that we we experienced throughout Red Right Hand. We're gonna uncover the truth today.
Someone in here said I have a good slasher smile. Thank you very much.
You got to play a slasher in the next one. Is basically what I'm hearing. There you go.
$5,000 worth of work, my guy.
Damn.
Braces.
You spent $5,000 on braces? That's nuts.
It was
Jeez.
braces and like rubber band. It was back like before Invisalign was really popular. My brother chickened out and got Invisalign. I still had the metal things where I could choose what color rubber bands I had, and wisdom teeth removal. So.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of pain.
You had the more customizable experience, though,
Yeah.
which is what's important.
Yeah, I got to choose the cool rubber bands because it was not like the other girls, and I chose red and black.
You were a cool kid, is what it sounds like.
I was not. I was absolutely not.
But hey, it's badass to me. I love it. Ellie's also throwing $2 in there saying,
Thank
you
you.
are all amazing, and she loved Red Right Hand. How about that? Ellie, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching.
It means a lot to all of us. So thank you for the $2, Ellie. Thank you. I do just want to ask, I want to throw this out there just to get the conversation started. Starting with Matt, what was your favorite behind the scenes moment from the entire film? Just working on it, doing your thing. What was something that still comes to mind a year later?
I think putting together the blooper reel was a highlight for me.
I love that blooper reel.
Sifting through all the clips and re-experiencing all the memories that we had just gone through the few months prior, and just seeing all the fun times that we've had for the whole experience and getting to put all that together. And I threw in a bunch of little jokes and quirks and editing tricks to it, and that released today on Jake's channel. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, go check it out. But that was a lot of fun for me to make, and it was just a good end of chapter for everything that we did before. There are countless things that I loved about making Red Right Hand, but that was definitely a highlight.
That blooper reel too was only for the patrons for a little while, and I was like, that's got to see the light of day, man. That's just, it's so funny. You edited a certain sequence in an anime fight style, which I think is like just a fantastic must. I loved that so much. Maya, so besides the 12-hour shoot in my kitchen,
Oh my god, was that 12 hours?
pretty much. Was that had to have been your favorite part, right? Where we made you cry for like 3 hours straight.
Yeah, the funny thing is, like, the reason I was crying initially is because my dog was really sick at the time, and we thought we were losing him that week, and he actually stuck out until after the movie was released, and then he said bye. Good boy, Zeus. I think my favorite was probably the scene where we're watching the movie and hours to shoot that scene because we couldn't stop laughing.
It's like a 2-minute scene too.
Yeah, like
It's like 6
we
hours.
would go in for like the fake smooch, and if I didn't start laughing, Jake would start laughing. And there was like one line in particular I couldn't get correct, and I was getting so angry because I couldn't say it right. I can't remember what line it was, but I could not say it correctly for the life of me, and I was getting so mad.
When you would stare into each other's eyes, it was so hard to hold that. You would all break down, and I wasn't helping things at all. I was being a total fucking goofball on the. I was being a goober on set.
It was just so funny because we're trying to have this like somewhat serious scene, and we just couldn't. We had the giggles.
It was a very goofy shoot. I think the funniest thing about that one was we were going into it, like I was telling everybody, like this is gonna be the easiest thing to shoot. Like it's a couple of sentences. Like this is a nothing scene. It took us like
Famous
4 or
last
5
words.
hours or something. We were there till like 1 a.m. I remember it was like, oh my god, that we filmed that at Marky's in Marky's basement. And
Yeah, I think I also remember at one point Matt had to put a sock over the microphone because we were getting like pops or whatever.
there was a lot of weird like technical things that night too.
Yeah.
We were like, fuck.
Like we were having issues with the camera, the audio, the video. It was a whole thing, and yeah.
I remember
that's one of my faves.
at the end of that scene, we tried to recreate like that Vertigo dollies in Jaws, and obviously we didn't have the equipment to really make that work. So we kind of tried finagling it. Marky gave it a shot. I gave it a shot. But I'll be honest. Even though we couldn't like exactly achieve the effect, I still think that shot of zooming in on Jake's face and he's like,
Barb said, "Huh?"
that's so funny. That's one of my favorite shots.
And can I say something about Matt too? Like Matt was, when I was on camera, Matt was directing, and Matt was so insistent. He's like, "No, Jake," because like I kept doing it like what, like that, and Matt, he's like, "Dude, no," at a whisper. He's like, "Go what?" Like he's like, "You got to do it like that." He's like, "Trust me," and I'm like, "Okay, I'll do it." And it ended up being way funnier for that reason. So Matt, good on you. A massive plus there. That was hilarious, man. Connor, I know you weren't there for too many of the shoots, but was there a moment from doing all of this that was like was your absolute favorite? I know you were there when we filmed the chainsaw scene.
Right. Two come to mind. The first one was when we filmed the sequence with David in the garage, and you and I pretty much waterboarded Matt with fake blood.
That was my second CIA experience in the span of 2 years. It was crazy.
And that comes to mind. And when you finish editing the infamous scene with the hole in the ground, and you called me and you're like, "I've got to show you something," and you didn't tell me what it was, and you showed it to me, and that's it's something like watching that for the first time. It sticks with you. With like my friend came up.
I
with
was there for the audio recording of that scene.
That was great.
I
that
still
was the
have
best
video
ADR
of
we've ever
Jake
done.
just putting his face in a water bowl and going bananas.
That didn't even make the blooper reel because like that was done after we had made the blooper reel.
Yeah. The Grussy.
The Grussy. Yeah.
Jake, what we did was like where I'm sitting right now, we set up a tray table and like this huge steel bowl of water, and we filled it with water, and we just had Jake come up real close to the mic and just drown himself, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
Screaming like
It went on
in
for
and out.
so
It was
long,
crazy.
too.
There's a video of me like doing it too. Like I'm like hunched
I have
over.
the video, yeah.
I'm hunched over in a bowl of water, and I'm like purposefully drowning myself, going like like that. And, like I think we ended up using that for the actual movie. But I know the one thing I'm very proud of with that scene is we recycled a burp from Corvus that we had in an outtake. And when all the blood, when all the blood shoots out of the thing at first, that's what you hear. Like it's the sound of a Corvus burp. It makes it even grosser. Like I don't know. I love it. So gross. One of my favorite moments. Just Jess is with us tonight. What's up, Jess? How's it going? Hope you and this is a friend of mine. Hope Jess and Madison are playing some games tonight. So hello. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Infinite Sky is also asking a question about a certain line I had trouble pronouncing. Yes, there was during the Matt, help me out here. What's the Limp Bizkit sequence?
Oh, that wasn't. It was like the whole line. There was the line about what is it? The thing where he's like, they have like a perfect blend of rap and metal, like that specific line. Jake fucked that line up at least like 40 fucking times in a row.
Yep.
I mean, we were stuck on that line for like 30 minutes. It was crazy.
It was the only like part of the entire filming process where I was just swearing. Like I was so mad at myself. I'm like, fuck. I just like take 39. Let's go, baby. I was like, God damn.
He actually got it right, and then he like got stuck putting the robe on, and he's like,
yeah. I'm like, fuck, I gotta do it again. Oh my God. Yeah, that was probably the most trouble I had with any scene. Like you would think like there's so much more weird shit I had to do in that movie, but it was that line during the Limp Bizkit sequence. So yes, that's it.
There's always one line that's everyone struggles with.
Right. Always, unfortunately. Sarah Campbell's also throwing the link out there. Thank you so much, Sarah. Appreciate that.
Okay.
If you're watching this and for some reason have not seen Red Right Hand and we're just spoiling the whole thing for you, there's the link, so check it out.
just in case.
You don't know we haven't spoiled who the killer is yet.
True.
So there you go.
It's Loki, Matt's dog.
It is. Yeah. Thanks for spoiling it, Maya. Jeez, no, I'm just Ellie's also throwing another $2 out there saying, "Love you, Maya. You were my favorite Red Right Hand."
Thank you. I appreciate it.
The love is real. Hell yeah, Ella. Thank you.
That was my first time ever like properly acting outside of like a stage, so that was fun. The hardest thing is getting used to the sound of your own voice, because I feel like most people kind of hate how their voice sounds like on camera, and then when you have to hear it hours upon hours a day, you're like, wow, I just sound like that, huh?
Welcome to my life.
Wow, I really
Yeah.
sound like that.
It's like, wow, my voice really just do be sounding like that.
It really just do be, you know? I don't know.
When I hear my laugh, like in a recording, I'm like, it's like, oh, that's really is just a witch cackle, huh? My mom and I have the exact same laugh. It's funny.
Oh, really? I don't think I've ever met your mom, Maya.
She's a delight. I love her.
That's wonderful to hear. That's very positive.
She has
wholesome
a little
conversation.
soap making business that she's getting off the ground. So
No way. What? Do you want to shout it out? Throw it out.
it doesn't have a proper name yet, and she doesn't have like a website or anything. But it is Neri's Essentials. We just got a whole bunch of holiday boxes done, and I have spent many an hour wrapping soaps.
Very nice.
Yeah, we're getting some more professional stuff done for it, and business cards and what have you. So we're just getting that off the ground. But I'll come home and I'm like, why is there 50 million things on the counter, and why does it smell like lye?
I mean, that must always smell good, though. You know, like the business that me and Matt were doing with Red Right Hand did not smell good.
She made
No,
a,
that was quite the opposite.
she made a spiced cranberry soap. That thing is crack. It smells amazing.
Ooh, okay. I might have to dip into some of that. I might be
Oh, absolutely.
going to the website after this. Damn.
Yeah, we gotta actually get the website, but
You're making it happen. You're making it happen.
absolutely.
I love it. Ellie, thanks for the $2 again. Very kind
thank you.
words there. We really appreciate
I
that.
appreciate it.
The Bearded Entertainment has just become a member as well. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you, man. And look at this. Eric is just killing it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Gifting 5 KillJoy Jake
I
memberships.
believe the Bearded Entertainment also contributed to Red Right Hand. Did he
Eric
not?
did. We would not have any of those drone shots without him. The guy drove all the way into Ohio to do those drone shots for us. Eric,
Dude, thank you.
thank you.
Thank
You don't
so
even know,
much.
man.
They looked incredible.
I was literally like, dude, we only had $5,000 to make this. I can't pay you, but I can buy you some chicken tenders, and that's what happened immediately after that. So, I think that's pretty fair. I don't know. To me, that's pretty fair.
That's a fair trade.
But yeah, Jeff said I have a cornbread accent, so I feel you on hearing your own voice. Dude, I don't realize how Midwestern I sound until I hear my voice. I'm like, wow, you can tell I am from the Midwest. They say like "ope" and "y'all," and I'm like, Christ.
Jess says y'all a lot. I make fun of her for it sometimes. If I keep going on, she's gonna like smack me in the face probably. but
Yeah, like
it's
at
very
my
funny
job,
stuff.
it's like, what can I do for y'all? It's like,
Maya, we got another question for you. What's
line.
what's your favorite line that Drew has to say in the whole thing?
My I have one. There are a few good ones, but mine's probably in the ending scene where what is it? It's a fucking horror show or something like that, where you're going on your big tirade about everything you want to do, and I'm over there with fake blood and crying and sniffling just after having a long ass shoot, and I was like, it's not a horror movie, it's a fucking horror show, and then I kick you.
Then you somehow find the strength to stand up on your broken leg and Jacob Brown.
I saw that scene. I was like,
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. That's
She's fine. She's totally
yeah,
fine.
my leg is totally fine. The piece of balsa wood was not. That's probably up there. There's a lot of pretty good scenes. I mean, scenes wise, probably with me and Christian in the car is pretty good.
I love that scene. Yes.
You know, for how
That was fun to
somber that scene was, that was probably the goofiest shoot, like maybe of the whole thing. Like
Steve-O voice.
Yeah, Christian was doing impressions the whole time. I'm like, we gotta get sad. We're laughing too much. Yeah, the famous jelking line, of course. Oh my god.
There were so many serious scenes that we had where in the background we're making just the stupidest jokes.
Yeah. Yep. A lot of the talking, like a lot of the dialogue sequences in particular too. I remember we were just joking around and like just thinking to myself, we have to take this, like, this is a serious scene.
We have to eventually get a take.
Yeah, like this is, oh no. But it was very fun. It was so much fun. What a crazy time.
I like it's a fucking horror show because it's equal parts kind of badass but also incredibly campy.
Yeah, right, exactly. Hell yeah. I'm glad you like that one. You know what? Real quickly, Marley Kai, we're gonna get to your question in a second here, but I want to throw that to everybody. Connor, what's your favorite line? Just the whole movie.
My favorite line. I think it's when it's Corvus in the bed. He's got the Patrick Star tights on, and I think Alex says to him, she's like, I think I'm in the mood. He's just like, what?
Just so taken aback.
It's so funny. Again, I think you mentioned that I think that's what my whole favorite thing about Red Right Hand was. It's such a fun, like, it takes itself serious but not too serious kind of camp, you know. It's just a fun thing just to watch back, and you know, I don't know. I just felt like the whole like downplayed, not so serious nature of it makes it so just lovable to watch. There's so many great lines. I just gotta like go through the archive in my head and think of them. Jake gave a whole monologue that I thought was really cool. When he's telling Noah behind the camera that he can do whatever he wants. I thought that was that's pretty good. You know, Oscars coming up.
Dog, I appreciate it, but nah. but goddamn. Matt, I'll throw that to you too. I know Matt, you know what? Don't be afraid to be too full of yourself, Matt, because Matt wrote a lot of the dialogue.
You know, I think I have an unfair bias towards some of this. I will say that I do think Jake absolutely knocked it out of the park when it came to acting out some of these lines. I think you just, you know, I remember there was a time where I was talking to Jake about like, man, you just do like such a good job. Like when you do like that psychopath phase, like you look like you want to fucking kill someone. And then Jake's just looking at me like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, oh God, that's just how I am, I guess. And I'm like,
I guess I'm just a psychopath, you know? It's like, goddamn, no.
No, but you do it really naturally. Every scene where you freak out, like,
those are
you
so
just
good.
knew exactly how to take the emotions up to 11. I don't know, you articulated everything very well, and I think a lot of the dialogue we wrote ended up really highlighting the type of character that we wanted to frame Jamie as, this absolutely like insufferable, like Redditor type of Ghostface character.
This guy's a Redditor.
These are all of the we're seeing all of the candid moments between the Ghostfaces when they're not like pretending to be part of the main cast. This is what they do behind closed doors, and I think we got a really accurate representation of what's sort of hinted at in the Scream movies. I think my favorite line was between you and Noah, one of the found footage scenes, where Noah is saying, hey, you know, there were Ghostface murders back in the 90s, and he's referring to the events of Scream 2, the Windsor murders. And Jamie is an obsessed Stab fan, but he doesn't know that they're all based on real events. So he's like, Matt, it's bullshit. There's a thing movies like to do where, you know, they claim to be based on true events. And we name drop a bunch of stuff that is, and they're ridiculous, like Child's Play is based on true events. And he's like, yeah, see, they're all bullshit. He makes a good point there when he brings up movies like Child's Play and The Exorcist. But, God, I think something like that, that's like, that perfectly encapsulates his character. That's probably one of my favorite lines in the movie, for sure.
Hell yeah, man! My favorite piece of dialogue is something that I know you wrote because we had a whole conversation about it. When Ghostface and Barbara are on the phone together, and he like you're starting to get clues as to who this other killer is, you know, the whole time, and he says something to the degree of like, the Loomis family had a history of mental illness or whatever, that which I do not suffer, and I'm like, that's the coldest bar in this entire movie.
I do not suffer.
Like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, Jesus, that's so.
Like
That's
really
messed
high
up.
and mighty version of Ghostface, Far Cry from Jamie, and I think that created such a cool.
This
contrast.
Ghostface uses 4chan.
He's higher up, you know. He's higher up on his what he uses. That's so funny. Infinite Sky is saying his favorite line is "critics, scum of the earth." That's a fun one.
That's a good line.
I do really like the rant where we're on an unnamed college campus. Dude, it's so weird because I go to that campus and I'll walk by that area. It's a student unit. And I'm like,
Wait a minute.
that whole rant about, what was it, stab, I think? And we're all just sitting there like, what?
Like what the hell
What
are
you
they
talking about? There's an outtake. I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was included in the blooper reel where Matt was accidentally in the shot.
Yeah, I
And
forgot to move.
we go to like
It was.
pan and it's just
Realized
Matt in the
the
back
way
going,
to
fuck!
wait. Yeah, that's in the
Dude.
blooper reel. That's so funny.
Me and Matt forgot about that when we got to editing the actual movie and we watched it again. And but, like in that room, in the room where Matt is sitting right now, we both were like tears coming down our face, laughing so hard over that outtake because it's just Matt. Like
so funny.
Matt's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like we were ready to shoot, everyone's in places, and Matt's just standing there in the.
We also had to shoot that scene missing two of the actors in that scene.
Yeah,
so we had to talk
yes.
to empty space at one point. But yeah, like
That
that
was
whole
a
rant
tough
was
thing to
so
figure out.
funny.
I think it's so funny that like when we went into the production for this, like Alex and Corvus were like, yeah, we can do those days. Like that's all good. And then like a couple months later when we actually got to shooting, they're like, our entire schedules have changed. We can't do any of those days. So like, I don't think Maya, I don't even think you were on set any of the days where Alex was there.
I was not. I think a lot of those I was working because I was working 2 jobs at the time. Scheduling was such a big thing in this because I was working a full-time job and a part-time job. I think Trent was working a full-time job at one point too, and just stuff going on.
I do appreciate everyone I appreciated everyone just being able to find time in their busy
I had
schedules,
so much fun.
It meant so much to both me and Matt, everybody, that we were able to get this together and make it happen. Like Alex too is like, she's a nurse, like, and she found time to come after work and be in this crazy movie with us. And it really meant a lot. Really meant a lot to me that everyone was able to do that. Jess is saying, y'all are going to give Jake a big head and then Madison and I are going to have to hear about it. I'm getting on the game after this, Jess. No, I'm so kidding. I'm so kidding. Bubba is asking, I want to make my own Scream fan film, kind of a psychological slasher. Any advice?
I know you took a lot of inspiration from American Psycho.
We did. We were very inspired by that.
Jamie was also very inspired by that.
Really?
Yeah. He's literally he watched it before this thing happened. Anybody from the panel, any advice you got for making a new Scream fan film?
Obviously the originals. Which, fun fact, I had not seen any Scream film prior to filming that.
Have you now? Have you seen any of them?
I actually still haven't. Trent and I have a whole day. We have a whole day blocked out to watch a whole bunch of them. So
I'm so disappointed. No, I'm kidding.
what time? No, we've talked about it because that's his brother's favorite horror franchise is Scream. But we have definitely been meaning to watch it. It's just finding time. I'm trying to think of other psychological slashers or just movies in general. That'd be a good thing to get into a headspace of.
I think if you are going to make your own Scream fan film, don't feel too held back by nailing all the tropes.
Yes.
Come up with your own idea, make it your own. Keep all of the iconic things about Scream in there, but don't let it hold back the creativity in terms of what you want to write, what you want to direct, what you want to create. You know what I mean? I've seen a lot of really cool Scream fan films that take Ghostface and put him in new, unique situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that we were able to do. So, always never feel held back. Always, stay true to yourself and create something that you want to make.
Absolutely.
I think whatever your biggest inspirations are, if you want to hit something that's more of a psychological horror, then, think of those inspirations and find a way to apply Ghostface to it. I think you'll come up with something cool.
Yeah, and the whole thing with Red Right Hand was think outside the box, because the whole concept of the film is from the point of view of the killers. It's that hasn't been done before. So my advice would just be, don't be afraid to think outside the box. Make it yours, make it unique. That's why I think Red Right Hand's a perfect blend. I think of just it's something familiar from the Scream franchise, and then it's a new idea that hasn't really been attempted yet. Yeah, so just think out. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Make it yours. Put a spin on it. And have fun. Don't feel like you have to make it a certain type of way or write it a certain type of way, anything like that. Just don't be afraid to have fun. That's what I would say.
Yeah, like keep maybe like some like core things that make it what it is, but the fun thing with fan films is you can kind of put your own spin on it. You're not like tied to contracts like a lot of other slasher franchises are. You can kind of make it a little funky, make it a little fresh. So
We like it funky and fresh. Absolutely.
Oh yes, we do. Yeah, you do not have to worry about studio interference. That is a thing that you have to take advantage of. Make it your own.
And you know,
Have fun with it. That's I think the biggest takeaway for a fan film is make sure you're having fun with it.
100%.
And we, you know, I've had people ask on the show before, like what advice would you give for like making my own fan film? And that's, I mean, you guys said it perfectly. I think like just make it your own, have fun with it. Like that's why we did it in the first place. Is because like I love Scream. I saw 5, you know, and I'm like, this is cool. I want them to take it. I want them to be bold. I want them to take the new direction, you know, and go somewhere where it's like we haven't done that before with Scream yet. And that was kind of like where the energy for making it in the first place came from. So if you have that, if you have something that you're watching these movies and you're like, damn, I just wish they would focus on this more. You can make a whole movie about that.
Absolutely. Like Jake and I made the Scream movie that we've always wanted to see in the theaters. That's why we did it. And it was really fulfilling for us to do it. So you can take that mindset into your projects. I think you're on the right track.
I think Sarah is asking the real questions here with, do any of you actually think Significant Other is a better Limp Bizkit album than Chocolate Starfish and the Hot Dog Flavored Water?
Oh shit. All right. This is about to get heated.
I have no input on this.
You're a huge Limp Bizkit fan though, Maya. What?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, wait. Show of hands. Who actually likes Limp Bizkit around here? Because I'm to the I'm to the point.
Out? Oh.
I actually unironically will headbang to some Limp Bizkit.
There's nothing wrong with thirsting for the Durst. Okay,
sometimes it's just one of those days.
It's just one of those days. Sometimes I'll just throw in my thing here. I think Hot Dog Flavored Water is like probably my favorite album from them, but Significant Other is also like that's the top 2. Like that's the only 2 albums to really listen to, honestly, from their whole catalog.
I think Significant Other has more objectively good things in it. I think I prefer Hot Dog Flavored Water, but a lot of the songs that I really like from that album are like fall into guilty pleasure category. Like they're really corny. Like Rollin' is really corny.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a banger.
It's a banger. Like, put it this way. Say what you will about Limp Bizkit. You can call the band cringe or whatever. If you were at a Limp Bizkit concert and they were playing live, do not tell me that you would not be losing your shit in the crowd.
Oh,
right?
I would.
I would be too.
This is like the debate philosophers have back in the ancient Rome or Greece.
That's how I feel about Nickelback, though. Like,
yeah,
some of their songs go kind of hard.
But they're still Nickelback at the end of the day.
Still Nickelback. Like, you want to tell me you are not busting it down sexual style to St. Quentin? That song is so good.
You know, I know every word to Rockstar by Nickelback.
So do I.
I can't believe I said that on the internet. Like, I would say that to you guys off air, but goddamn. No, I'm but you know, honestly, a big reason why Limp Bizkit was chosen for that sequence, because like it feels a little out of nowhere, right? Like it's not mentioned any other times. I really wanted. This is, and once again, this is a subjective standpoint, but I wanted Jamie's taste overall to come off as cringe, and you know, and I'm like, what's the most like, you know, honestly, Nickelback was a choice. We were thinking like, oh, maybe, you know, he talks about Nickelback. That was something that bounced around when we were writing this, but I wanted like Limp Bizkit is a notably, like, most people hate this band, and even the people that do like it, like, are like, yeah, they suck, but I like them, you know? Yeah. So that's kind of why we chose Limp Bizkit. It was kind of like, well, we want this guy to have notably bad taste, you know what I mean? And any way we can put that out there.
Yeah, but the Fred Durst thing kind of goes, it goes a little deeper than that too, because when we did the proof of concept film, the gag that we had in the movie was that the Stab 2021 that we had in that was written and directed by Fred.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So it kind of like comes back in an interesting way in the future. You know, I'll be honest, when we were making the movie, like, me and Jake, we were ragging on Limp Bizkit. We're like, yeah, Limp Bizkit's pretty cringe. We think we lost Connor, by the way.
I think we did. Rest
He's
in
lost
peace.
to the void now. There's no getting him back.
He's been sucked into the void behind all of this right now. Damn.
But,
Sorry, Matt.
It's all good. But we were like totally ragging on Limp Bizkit like in the beginning, like when we were doing the proof of concept and doing the feature, but then more and more that we started listening to Limp Bizkit because we had to.
This is
for the
actually
movie.
kind of fire.
It like I'm just gonna be honest. I like unironically really enjoy Limp Bizkit now, and I'm pretty sure Jake is in the same boat.
I think last year I listened to the song "Rollin' Air Raid Vehicle" over 200 times. Like
That song has become like our ritual song. Every time we
Yeah.
get in the car, we're rolling, baby.
Every time we drove, like anytime we were driving, like between shoots or whatever, like I had to, like Matt doesn't drive, for those who don't know. I had to drive him home or whatever. I mean, every single time.
I think
Rollin'
there
Air
was a
Raid
day
Vehicle.
you guys had to pick me up from work because this was before I had a car, and you guys pick me up and you're blasting that song in my work's parking lot, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's them.
Oh, my boys, there they are. Oh, has he returned?
Connor's back. Connor, are you there, buddy?
Hello.
Hey.
Uh-oh. Connor, say something if you're alive. Oh, well, no, he's back in the void, guys. He's gone.
He's gone again.
We've lost him.
My only thing, I guess, on on Limp Bizkit is every time we got in the car, because we had been listening to it for the movie, it was just like on autoplay on my fucking phone, and like I would connect my phone to Jake's car, so every time we would start the car and get back in, it would jump scare us with Limp Bizkit. It would be like, ladies and gentlemen.
And it was we'd always leave it cranked because of course we're jamming out to it, you know. So it's like you just hear Fred Durst voice as loud
What
as
are you
possible.
gonna do
over the
about it, you
speakers.
know?
Exactly.
Fred Durst jump scare.
The worst kind. Connor, are you with us again? Are you alive?
Yeah, sorry, I don't know. I like Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit. They just like try to hack my computer, beat the shit out of me for not raising my hand. When I said that they like Limp Bizkit.
There. No, there's another song that's like that where it's Them Bones, I think, by Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
And I'll be like listening to all my random songs and I'll have my music turned up. All of a sudden it's just, ah! And I'm like, God.
It starts off with
It's
with
just
that,
him yelling.
right? Banger
Like, okay.
though. I love that song so much.
Oh, it's a great song.
That's really funny.
I wanted to ask though. There's a lot of music we were able to use within the fan film just because like I had no intentions of monetizing it. Connor got sucked into the void for the third time. Jeez. No, but
There's got one.
Fred Durst really is pissed that he doesn't listen to the Limp Bizkit. Damn. But I wanted to throw this to everybody. Besides Limp Bizkit, what's your favorite song in the movie?
The intro song.
Oh yeah, we all recorded lines. We all did vocals on that, didn't we?
Yeah, so
Different in
that
the
was
mailbox.
done in Jake's basement by Noah's band. And I believe Trent did guitar on that one. And then we had a good friend of ours, Sebastian, do vocals because he normally does those kinds of vocals. And then at the end, we all got into our makeshift recording booth and just screamed.
Yeah, there's a scream about it's towards the end, like when the credits are
it's
coming down.
Ethan's, I think. Or was it the banshee scream?
Yeah. Everyone did we told everyone do a different kind of scream. So like I think mine was like like that, and then like Ethan goes in there, who's the drummer on that track. He goes in there and does like the highest pitch noise you've ever heard in your life. And if you listen closely in that intro, you can hear it. Like the like it's way up there. I can't do it.
Everything. It's the most prominent one.
Yeah, that's Ethan. That's the drummer for that same track, which is
He
so
was an
funny.
animal on the drums.
Dude, okay. I wrote that song and I like literally never spoke to Ethan about it. He comes down in the basement, I play the riff, you know, and he's just like, "Oh, I got it," and plays something way cooler than anything I've ever done in my entire life. I'm like, okay, all right, let's record. Fuck, Jesus.
Man's a genius.
Man's insane. The best musician I've ever played with in my entire life, bar none. Like, not even exaggerating. Matt, though, what's your favorite song in the movie? You picked most of the songs. So what's your favorite one?
I did pick a lot of the songs. All right, I guess if we're talking original songs, things that we covered for it.
Or anything. I mean, there's some Dandy Warhol's tracks in there.
Yeah, like so. I'm Dandy Warhol is one of my favorite bands, and all the Scream movies always start with like a pop top 40 kind of song. And Dandy Warhol's "We Used to Be Friends." It's one of my favorite songs, and I figured that would make a lot of sense because it has like the pop groove to it, but I also think that the lyrics kind of make sense with the friend group in the movie. How Jamie is kind of still pretending to be friends with his group, but he has ulterior motives now, and things are not quite the same. And I always thought that was a cool thing. There was actually a lot of songs that we picked specifically because the lyrics had some kind of thematic, some kind of.
You're good. You're good. Keep it rolling. Good, Ryan? Keep it rolling, baby.
Keep on rolling, baby.
Yeah, sorry, my mom was calling me.
You're good. You're all good. We're chilling.
All good. But yeah, there were a bunch of songs where we picked them because like, the lyrics like kind of tell the story of Red Right Hand in some way. One of my favorites was the one by Wordly Jets, Bad News.
Oh, was that the one that I listened to, like when I'm walking?
When you're walking, that was the Dandy Warhols.
Oh, okay, that one I liked.
Bad News is the one that plays during the party scene, right when the party scene starts.
Oh,
when Alex and Corvus pick you up, I think it starts playing from like diegetically from the car or whatever, right?
All of the lyrics are like tell the story of Red Right Hand, and I'm like, that's kind of cool how it works out like that. We also had two members, our friend Jenna, who she has a few scenes in the movie. She appears briefly during the nightmare scene, which that is a whole scene that we could unpack later on. But she is in a band called Girl Cologne. She is the lead vocalist of the band and the guitarist of the band, Cade. He's a good friend of mine. We went to high school together. He did this incredible acoustic guitar version of About a Girl by Nirvana, and Jenna sang, and it's just this chilling, haunting version of the song.
It was really good.
It has a very different context when it's sung by a woman, and in the context of Jamie, he awakes from this horrible nightmare, and just a really uncomfortable scene. I think they killed it on that personally. That was probably my favorite song in the movie. I think really set the scene.
I think what I love about that scene is before, most of the movie, most of the highlights that you've watched before that is like really silly stuff. Like, I mean, we knew before we were filming the Limp Bizkit scene that was going to be hilarious. We were talking about it for months beforehand. When you get to that part, the dream sequence, it gets real. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa, this is fucked up. Dude's cutting up bodies in his backyard. He's having this freaky dreams about what's actually happening. I really love one of my favorite things about the whole fan film is how it like shifts in tone. Like it just grabs you and says, nope, this is a horror movie real quick. Okay, now let's go back to the comedy. I think I love that about the dream sequence. It's one of my favorite parts about it. And Jenna killed it with that song, emphasizing that a little bit. For sure. The Hollywood Guy, the blooper reel it's up on the page. I just posted it today for everybody to see. But this was something that was attached to the Patreon version of the film when it came out last year. So patrons were able to watch this last December, but now it's free for everyone. Everyone can check it out. It is up on the page. I just posted it this morning. So go check it out if you haven't seen it, man. It's 17 minutes of all of us just basically having a blast. So go watch it. It's a fun one.
One funny thing about the dream sequence is that there's that scene where I like pull up my mask and I have like that really creepy smile that I do. And I think Trent was in the room with me. For context, Trent is my boyfriend. And he was like, "That's you?" Like, yes, that's me. I'm apparently able to just pull a really creepy face out of nowhere. And he was like, "God, that is absolutely terrifying." And I'm in like this really pretty dress and I have my makeup done. And Matt was like, "Okay, now just look really creepily into the camera." I'm like, "Okay." And then he pulled away and went, "Okay."
I think we did that in one take too. You like understood the assignment.
Yeah. It's literally just me smiling and opening my eyes wide. That's all it is. Just
that was
there we go. Hey, look at that.
That was an interesting day because we filmed that separately from the rest of the nightmare sequence in the woods.
Different woods too.
Yeah, different woods, and it was a quick pickup so we could get that scene of Maya. And we also shot the scene. So it was interesting. We brought the entire Devil Ghostface costume with us. We gave Maya the boots and the mask and the knife to hold when she unmasks herself. But then at the end of the scene, when Jamie's reaching for the buck knife, Devil Ghostface grabs out of the ground before him and he slashes at him. I'm gonna be honest, that was a pretty dangerous thing that we shot because I just like swatched the knife really close. Jake was like on the ground holding the camera up. Yeah, I'm happy that nobody died during the making of this movie.
Yeah, so another thing too. Speaking of dangerous, I think it ended up getting cut maybe where Ghostface like smashes the guitar down on Trent's character. I think.
Yeah.
And Trent had this really shitty bass that he was like, I just want to get rid of it, and so you guys had cut the neck so it would break just at the right part. And I walk into the garage and Noah's going at it with an angle grinder. And I'm like, I have been on enough gore sites to know that this is not going to go well. Put that down.
So, context there for anyone who doesn't know. So in the middle of the, like, basically during the party sequence where everyone starts throwing up because they're all poisoned and they start getting killed by the ghost faces, there was supposed to be a sequence where the guy that hits on Maya's character, which is her boyfriend in real life, which is hilarious, he was supposed to get killed by his own guitar. And we fucked up the shot. Like, I don't know how else to say it. So a couple of things happened with that. Darjan Bentley, who is amazing, unfortunately cannot be here tonight. We couldn't have finished the movie without him, frankly. Our DP had to drop out, working on some other projects. And Darjan came in and killed it. Frankly, if it wasn't for, like, seriously, I don't know what we would have done if he didn't come in and started helping us. You'll see it in the behind the scenes too. The guy is so like high energy, very positive.
He's amazing.
Kept us laughing even when things were getting tough at 3 a.m. Guy's amazing. But he came in to film the party scene, and we lost our DP. We were working with a brand new guy. He had no idea what the hell we were even shooting. And one of the first things we had him do, which this is on my part as a director, this is really dumb for me to say this is the first thing we're gonna do, was the killing of Trent. And he fucked up the shot. It's my fault. Like, it's my fault that we fucked it up. But I wish we could have kept that in because it was cool. Like, when the guitar exploded, cool. I remember, like, I did it. It was so cool. Like, I got to smash it on the ground and it just exploded into pieces. And we didn't get to use it for the ending shot. But it was cool. It was fun. It's a fun deleted scene. It lives in deleted scene land now. But
that whole vomit scene was so upsetting for me because if you don't know, I have a very bad phobia of vomiting. And Jake and Matt come up to me and they're like, hey, we're going to have this scene where everyone in the room that you are with is going to start vomiting. And I'm like, that's so sexy of you guys. Thank you. And the worst part, like, Trent knew this. Trent already knew that I have this horrible, horrible phobia of it. And I was like stealing myself. And he like takes a sip of, it was like Mountain Dew. It was like gross Mountain Dew. He takes a sip and he starts coughing. And it was too realistic for my taste. And he just bleh all over the table. And he had to do multiple takes of it. And Trent's like, I'm going to actually vomit, I swear to God. And I was sitting there like, this is the worst day of my life.
There's one outtake in the behind the scenes that I noticed today. I was like, I re-edited it for the upload today. And there's one take where Trent is throwing up on the ground and someone's talking in the background. Like, I think it's Jackson. I know it's Jackson. I love him to death, but the man talks a lot. We love him though. We stand Jackson. He's talking in the background. You can hear it faintly. And I was like, oh, we got to do that again. And Trent just goes, oh my God. Like, he's so mad because he had to throw up again. And it's so funny. Like, he did not want to do that. It was very funny.
Because he has to hold in a mouthful of Mountain Dew, of like stale Mountain Dew, and then spit it up on the table. Like, it's not a fun thing to shoot.
No, it was not.
You know what? Speaking of that brings up an amazing point. On the topic of having to hold a liquid in your mouth for an unnecessary amount of time.
Oh my God! I know exactly what he's about to bring up. There's
gotta be context with this.
Oh, I think I know what scene it is.
This was the most this was actually the most frustrated I was filming the entire thing. Was this? You tell it, Matt. You tell it. You go ahead.
Do you want me to tell it?
Yeah, you tell it. You you tell it, man.
Jake was so mad at me. Like, he was angry, very angry, and you know what? I deserve it. But and so in the opening scene, when we're talking in my room again, right here, this very area here.
Oh, wow.
And Noah, dressed in the Ghostface costume, comes out there and he stabs Jake Jamie
And-
spits out some blood.
And one thing before that too, we wanted to use specifically a different color blood than what we used for the rest of the movie, so it looked fake. Like it was like Mio. It was like cranberry. What was it? Blackberry Mio or
Blackberry
something?
Mio, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mio's like that water
The energy
flavor
drink
enhancer stuff. Yeah,
thing, yeah.
those drops you put in. So we're like, okay, that's cool. We can buy it and we can just drop it in our mouth and it'll look like blood, but like something's kind of off. And I think that was kind of cool. The only problem with it is that the drops by themselves, like, you're meant to put it in water.
It's
by
concentrated,
itself, concentrate is like the most, it's like sour, sweet, and bitter all at the same time, but like dialed up to 11. And so the idea here was Jake was like, all right, Matt, I'm going to put it in my mouth before we hit record. And you need to give me a signal. And I just did not pick up what a signal was or what he meant by the signal. So when we started, it was in his mouth and we were waiting for, the signal for him to spit it out, and I'm running away. And I'm just like not catching on. And Jake's looking at me with the Mio in his mouth and he's like,
I wanted him to call like action, and he didn't do it. Like we were just sitting there, and I have all this like insanely sour shit in my mouth, and I'm just like doing this. I'm like, don't call it. You know what I mean? Like I can't say anything. I was like visibly sweating. Like the take we use, I have like a bead of sweat coming down my face, and it's because of that.
Visibly sweating.
But that, oh my god, that was so fun. Like I still think about it. I can still taste it to this day. I can taste it. I do want to praise Matt though, because we have Rotting Prince talking about the intro song and also the art for that opening. Matt, I just want to say something real quick about Matt. He animated that ghost face turning his head, and how long did that fucking take you? Like
that was rotoscope,
hours on hours. Yeah, he rotoscoped that.
It definitely took me a few hours of work. I remember exactly it was, I think 73, 76 frames of animation. What I did was I grabbed one of our spare Ghostface masks, I put on a hoodie, and I went outside, got in a nicely lit area, and I just had somebody film a video of me in the Ghostface mask, slowly turning my head like that with the mask on. And then I just put the video into Photoshop and went frame by frame, and with a tablet I illustrated a sketch over every single individual frame, and I rotoscoped it by hand. That's like that's like the Take On Me music video. That's the same technique. That's
an old animation technique.
Yeah, it's a very old animation tech, and I think it added this really cool like punk rock Ghostface flair to it. It's kind of like not very fluid animation. It sort of like wiggles around. I don't know. I think it looked really cool. I wanted to go for sort of like a music video look to the opening, something really punky. And I think it came out good, and I'm appreciate what you're. I'm happy you enjoyed it, because that was sort of an on the whim thing. I was like, yeah, I think that'll look cool. Let me try that, and I think it paid off.
You killed it with that, man. I love the way those intro credits look. Like I don't know. To me, it's just like, this looks like a real movie. Like I remember seeing it for the first time. I'm like, oh my god, like damn, that's so impressive. Connor, I wanted to ask, man. I know you're stuck in the void right now.
Well, I've been reading the comments here. Like I'm a mix of being stuck in a time machine and meeting other variants of myself. I think it's what's going on here.
Connor's back to time traveling. The Connor, you're in the Connorverse.
Yeah.
Connor, I wanted to ask. Once again, I know you weren't there for too many of the shoots. What, like, from the premiere? Like, do you have a favorite memory or anything like that that you wanted to throw out there?
Yeah. No. For those who don't know, a few days before the movie came out on YouTube here, we had a premiere. We rented a theater close by here for cast, friends, and family to come watch it. Just being there and watching something that you helped make. And everyone there who put so much hard work, time, and effort into this, this huge dream project. It was just really, it was a lot. It was a really emotional night. But I remember everyone, the reactions in the theater, especially for the head stomp. Courtesy of Greg Ucom, another unsung hero of this movie.
Yes.
that got a huge reaction in the theater. I remember that. I'll remember that whole experience forever. It was really an awesome night. It was a huge celebration of everyone coming together and making this happen. But no, that was that head stomp, the reaction. Everyone was losing their minds over that because it just came out of nowhere.
Practical effects, baby.
That was so much fun to do. Like, I remember when we filmed that kill, it was just like, whoa, like that I just remember celebrating. We were all going nuts. I had my jaw like on the ground. I was like, I didn't think it would come out that good. Like, wow, holy fuck.
After the shot, I remember I was filming everyone like as it happened. We were in disbelief. Jake had trouble breathing like after we stomped on the head. They were like in disbelief. Like everyone was like, holy shit. That was a great moment. And then, we were in a garage mopping up like puddles and puddles of blood. And, like nothing illegal going on here. We're just cleaning up.
Nothing illegal going on here.
Another story that we don't talk about as much that I just remembered, me and my dad, Greg, who did all the effects for the movie, we were talking about like another thing with that sequence. We had to move a fridge from this is so funny. We moved the fridge from the kitchen to the garage of this house that we were shooting in. And mind you, like we couldn't just take it from like the kitchen to the garage, which were connected. We had to go out the back door, around the house, and through the front of the garage to get it in there. If you watch the scene again, it doesn't look like a fridge would be there. Like we had to move it there. And Darjan, who we love, was saying something like, for whatever we had him move it, like the front part of it. And I remember he was just saying like, he's like, man, we're gonna get arrested. Like we look like we're stealing a fridge, right? Like, and we were literally like walking it out of this house like this, He's like, if a cop passes by, we're getting arrested. You guys know that, right? And I'm like, oh, we got to do this quick, man. Holy shit! I just remember freaking out trying to get that fridge into that thing, and then we had to move it back too. Like when it was dark outside that same night, it was just tense, stressful, ridiculous. So ridiculous.
That didn't even like cross my mind at the time. I was like, we just got to get this done. It's crazy because that was a house that was like my grandma's old house, and we were like trying to sell it. So I was like, oh, okay, it's vacant. We can use the fridge. We can film there. It's totally fine. When we go in there, and when we're removing the fridge, we noticed that like the water supply, like it's still connected. So we cut that. We realized that the connection was rotted. Everything was rotted. So it was actually a good thing that we ended up cutting it. We actually saved a lot of money when we sold the house because we prevented a bunch of damages.
Oh, that's good.
So it actually ended up being a good thing. At first we were like, oh shit, what do you mean you moved the fridge? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. And it was the weirdest story to explain that like, oh, well, we moved a fridge so we could film a movie, and we exploited a fake head in the garage. But those are just details. It was crazy. Honestly, that was one of the most insane. It felt illegal. Like shooting that scene felt like this feels wrong, but it looked fantastic. So you know what? I can't complain.
Oh yeah, it was so much fun. Hollywood Guy's got a really good question. Was there a location you wanted to film at but couldn't? Okay, so there was a whole plot line we had to cut with a cop character that I really wanted to do, and I just never, we just couldn't get around to it. We didn't have enough money, we didn't have enough people. I wanted to have a cop coming after Jamie the entire time as like basically a C plot, and he would almost be like a Dr. Loomis that like comes and helps Drew like at the end of the film. But it just ended up getting cut. I wanted to do it so bad. I think it would have been cool. But we would have needed like a police precinct or something like that, like where he would have been like at his desk, having his coffee and all that. And he's like, Devil Ghostface running around town. Oh man, I wanted to have a police presence in the movie, but it ended up not really being super important in my opinion. I think that would have been cool, but I think it would have just been there to be like, because we have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's why we didn't end up doing it.
Yeah.
But Matt, location-wise, was there anything that you remember that we just couldn't do that we were talking
the one
about?
I remember specifically is, so again, this is big spoilers, but I imagine that ship has sailed at this point.
Yeah. It's been a year,
Yeah,
man,
at the end of the movie, we find out that Matt was Devil Ghostface the whole time, and that he's actually Danny Johnson from Dead by Daylight. And we see that in the last part of the movie, he is now in what's it called? Is it Rosewood, Florida? It's in Florida. It's the town from the Dead by Daylight Ghostface lore. So we sort of like tied it into that. And it's interesting. We originally, Jake had a plan to fly down to fly down to Miami, right?
Yeah, my buddy Joe lived there at the time.
Yeah,
and we were gonna actually shoot some stuff there.
And I think the reason you couldn't is because the storms were happening, right?
The hurricane was going on. I think like the flight was just going to be too expensive, but we had a place to stay. Like all we needed was just me and my brother who would have flown down there. But yeah, we just didn't end up doing it. I think we just used like a stock, a stock image or something.
I used a stock like drone shot of Tampa, and then the scenes of Noah driving are like just like in your neighborhood.
And I think we just like colored it differently than the rest of the movie or something. It's like, it's Florida, sure, whatever.
Sure, whatever.
Put on the Mexico filter.
Yeah, like the Breaking Bad yellow, you know? Yeah.
It's crazy too, because I think we filmed that in fall. So like it was Ohio in the fall, and there were like leaves coming off the trees, and somehow it's still
This is Florida.
Sure,
it's the Midwest.
But it's totally fine. Honestly,
It's
that's
fine.
such a little thing, and you know, I think it's pointless to worry over like the little things that we couldn't do. I think what we did is incredible, and I think we should all be proud of what we were able to accomplish. I think that's what's important at the end of the day. I have to talk about for sure the last 48 hours of Red Right Hand. We could make a documentary called "The Final Hours of Red Right Hand."
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
More of a drama than the movie.
We were all at the celebration party, and Matt's mom, God bless her, had put up this like wonderful little party with charcuterie boards and everything. And Matt and Jake are like, "Y'all, you will not believe what happened." And we're like, "Huh?"
I remember Maya gets there and she's all excited. Everyone's all excited. Me and Jake looked like we just had a heart attack, and that's because like
you guys look like you just came out of like the front lines.
I'm pretty sure the sound design for the film got done an hour before we premiered
at the theater. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That was terrifying.
You're like, hold on.
I'll tell the story because it happened here in this desk area.
Yeah.
Like this is where it all happened. And you know, Jake was running around. Jake was really stressed out. So I'm trying to pull my weight. He's trying to pull his weight. There was like, it never seemed like we were doing enough. Like there was always some other thing we had to do. We had, in the last month, the weeks leading up to Red Right Hand, there were a lot of things with editing the movie. One big problem, and this is on my end. This is my fault. I should have caught this, but also by the time we caught it, it was a bit too late. I discovered that I had some malware on my computer. I had downloaded.
I forgot about this. Oh my god!
You're like, guys,
I forgot about this.
Guys.
Oh my god!
So, what happened here was, God bless this man. Our friend Andrew came on to help us edit the movie, and he saved our asses. I mean, he's an incredibly talented editor, and he was able to help us with so much. He was a fucking trooper. He stayed with me until like 4 in the fucking morning, like every night. I felt so bad for him. And as we progressed in the movie, as we were getting to the end, and the timeline on the editing software was so huge, my computer just started chugging and crawling to a halt. And, you know, we kind of ran some diagnostics. We figured out, okay, what could be causing this? And at the very end of it, Andrew just looks at me and he's just deadpan. He's like, Matt, you have malware on your PC. And I'm like, I was like,
shit.
He's like, you can do a scan, but the scan's going to take you like 24 hours. And I'm like, well, we don't have 24 hours. What it eventually ended up being was I accidentally, like, it's a Google Chrome scam where, like, you know how Chrome will tell you, like, you want to enable notifications, and I, like, clicked off of that. That downloaded a Trojan. There was some guy, like, in Russia mining my GPU for Bitcoin, and I didn't even know that. And that whole thing was going on during Red Right Hand. So that was just another layer to the stress on top of everything we were dealing with. But the last 48 hours, like 52-something hours, from the moment that I had woken up to the time that I passed out and fell asleep, 56 hours had passed of me being awake. I got maybe like a 2-hour nap. I squeezed a 2-hour nap in there when I was rendering the movie. But Jake was like, all right, hey, I'm going to go get everything prepared. We have everything ready for the theater. We had the party planned. Everything was planned. It was all hinging on getting the movie done. So I've never felt more like I've been in a movie than what happened in those last 24 hours.
Yeah, we're all in the theater, and like
crazy.
Trent and I are like getting seated and stuff. And I was like, "Oh, where's so and so?" And they're like, "Yeah, he's up in the Eagle's Nest editing as we speak." And I'm like, "Huh?"
So
yeah, we're all at the party. We're having a good time, and Jake is like,
yeah, and
will
Jake
not
showed up
believe
to the
what
party,
just
but
happened.
Jake was late to the party because he was
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to get everything figured out. And the last 48 hours were essentially me and Andrew sitting down, trying to get the last few things put in place, getting the last few effects. One of the last things I did, and this was awful, was doing all the VHS filters. Any scene where it's from Matt's perspective and it's filmed with the VHS camera, I did a filter in After Effects. And those effects, I had to like wait for each one to individually render. So I was sitting here like twiddling my thumbs, like waiting for it to render. I had like a game open on the side so I didn't go insane. And I'm sitting here playing a game and I'm like, wow, I'm playing a game while like more stressful. But there's literally nothing I can do but wait. So I'm just, wow.
Just like going back and I
was just going back every time the notification for like it rendered. I'm coming back like, oh, I gotta do the next thing. Ah! I'm going crazy. The color grading, I had to figure that out at the end. There were like little effects that I had, just a bunch of little things that added up. But the biggest nightmare was when it was finally done. I finished the final cut of the movie, or at least the theatrical cut. Actually, the cut that you guys got on YouTube had some fixes because there were just a few things that I could not get done in time for the theatrical version. So you guys actually got a fixed version. By the time I was done, it was 9:30 in the morning. I was wrecked. I had been up for like 30-something hours already. And Jake told me like the night before, like, hey, I'm going to be there at like, what was it, like noon? You'd be there at like 12 or something to come pick up the USB drive. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm going to render this. It'll probably take a couple hours.
I wanted to test it at the theater beforehand to make sure.
Of course,
and like,
Yeah.
So here's what happened. I wake up and I see that it's stuck at 100%. And I call Andrew and I said, hey, what's going on? Like, maybe you can help me out. I was starting to panic at this point. And I saw that, whenever you edit a video or whenever you export something, the computer will always create a little temporary file for like where the final file is going to go before the final rendered file goes there. So I saw the temporary file for the export. And I was like, okay. I ask Andrew what's going on, and he just says, it's the nature of the beast, Matt.
It's the nature of the
What does that mean?
That's what he told me.
What?
He's like,
The nature of the
he
beast.
says, there's like,
It's the
you
top and
gotta-
of the beast.
you gotta let it process. And I was like, oh God. Jake comes in. He's like, where's the movie? And I'm like, it's stuck at 100. And he's like, what do you mean?
I know. We were like, what do you even what, dude? We got to test this right now. Oh my God.
Driving back and forth. Like, he went to the theater, back to my place, back to the theater, back to his place, back to my place, like driving all over the place. He was so angry when he showed
Dude,
up here.
the anxiety coming through me was insane. I mean, I was like, what's going on, man? Oh my God.
It was like what was it, like 2 p.m., 3 p.m., something like that.
Yeah.
Comes here. Jake has a meltdown. I mean, he is so like, because we invited everyone to a party,
Everyone.
and a premiere.
Dude, I was like, what's going on? Like, what? Oh my
It was
God.
so
That's crazy,
embarrassing
man.
if we fucked this up. I mean, we were screaming and crying. We were punching the wall. I mean, it was fucking crazy. So Jake was like, all right, I'm going to go back to my house, and then I got to come back, and if it's not done, we got to cancel. So I was just like, fuck it. I know Andrew said not to click open the temporary file because he says that might corrupt the file. But I'm like, at this point, I'm like, if in 15 minutes we don't have a movie file, we're not having a premiere either way. So I just go with my gut, trust my instinct, and I click on the temporary file. Lo and behold, it plays the movie. It actually had finished hours ago, and it just didn't update the file icon. If you guys don't know what the temporary files look like, it looks like a little piece of paper with like a bent edge.
Yeah.
And that's what the icon was, and it actually completed, and it just didn't tell me. And I'm like, go fuck yourself, computer. Jesus Christ.
Listen, I mean, that is movie making, baby. That's,
Jake comes over. He comes over and we're just both like,
The relief.
Can I also say that when we after the premiere, which was awesome, like everyone had a great time. It was so much fun. Afterwards, me and Matt were like, we're gonna fucking party. I don't care that we just like basically stayed up the last 3 days. We're gonna get annihilated tonight, and I think we were up until like 4 a.m. too. Like I don't know what the fuck got into us.
Crazy. So like I said, like I had already been aside from like I tried to take like a power nap, but it was useless. I think the sheer adrenaline and the excitement of finally being done with the movie was enough to push us through the party. Because what had happened was we finally got everything figured out around 4, and Jake was like, "All right, I'm gonna go to like get ready for the party, but also to go to the theater and make sure everything worked." And when they took it to the theater, I think like was it the sound didn't work or like something on YouTube didn't work, and like Noah had to figure some audio stuff out like on the fly at the theater. They got it all figured up. They called me. At 6 p.m., people are showing up at my door. We have this red carpet event party. It's amazing. Honestly, like, it was incredible seeing all of my friends, everybody who worked on the movie, all my family members, people who weren't involved with the movie that wanted to see what we had made. Everyone was all dressed up. It was awesome. It felt like a real movie premiere, and we all had a toast in the basement, and it was just wonderful. And we all went to the theater afterwards. Seeing something that you created on a movie theater screen is a magical experience, and it was wonderful. And we had gotten back. Me and Jake, we stopped at his place, just like, holy shit, we did it. It was unreal.
My own fun. Oh, sorry.
I just was like. He's like, hey, Marky's having an after party at his place. Do you want to go to that? And I'm like, man, I'm gonna be honest. I'm so tired. I don't know if I have the energy for it. And then he just looks at me. I'll never forget this. And he says, hey, take 3 edibles. You'll feel a lot better.
3.
We we
can do it after 1.
It's legal now. We can say this. Me and Matt.
It's a perfectly legal substance.
Immediately after the premiere, we got home, had that conversation, and we both took 3 edibles. I have never been more high in my entire life.
Oh, me neither.
It was a mixture of like being so tired and so high at the same time. It was just like, what's going on? And we just partied, dude. Like, it's just ridiculous.
It was the exhaustion, it was the high, and then it was also the excitement of what the fuck we just did. It was like a crazy day. The stress, everything mixed together. I mean, like I almost passed out. Like I got like level-headed, or I got lightheaded, and I fell to the ground. Marky had to help me up. It wasn't making sense anymore.
Math ain't mathin'.
The math ain't mathin'.
We played Limp Bizkit at the party. We played Rollin', and dude,
and we moshed. I remember we were moshing.
I've never seen a motherfucker mosh as hard as he did when Limp Bizkit plays, and he's like, "No, y'all be loving this shit right here." Everybody's going crazy. Oh, it was a great memory.
I wasn't at that party. I think I just went home after that because I was so tired.
Yeah, despite it all, it was worth it for that night. That night was a magical moment, and we cried. Like Jake and I, we cried a lot.
I wasn't gonna share that on here unless you did, but yeah, there was a moment of the party. We cried at the party, as they say. We just had a moment together, and it was wonderful. It was beautiful. I wouldn't trade it for the world. As crazy as those 48 hours were, it was worth every second. And I don't know, it was just amazing. It was a great time.
Yeah, my own funny story prior to the party is, so I'm wearing this like metallic red on my eyelids right now, which is what I wore to the party. And I was going through my makeup, and I wanted to get specifically a red glitter because I didn't have one that was quite the shade that I wanted. And so I'm like, okay, Trent, let's go to Ulta real quick. And he's like, okay, fine. And we had like some other stops we had to make too. And I go in there, I'm like, I need red glitter. And he's like, we ain't got that. And I'm like, what do you mean you ain't got that? He's like, we have like this. I'm like, that's pink, my dude. And he's like, okay, well, we have this. And it's a metallic eye pencil. And it's by Stila, which is like a more expensive brand. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll get it. It was $24. for an eye pencil, and I'm like, this party better be fucking worth it.
This better be a good damn party. Spend a lot of money on makeup.
Another behind the scenes thing, not the party, but we were filming. It's the campfire scene, and this had just occurred to me. I remembered we were filming that scene. And it was me, Corvus, and Alex. Alex, and we were filming that scene. I was so sick during that scene. I had a wicked sinus infection, and I was wearing like my Brand of Sacrifice shirt and Trent's hoodie, and in between takes I had to sit down because I was so sick I could barely stand. And I don't know if it's if you can see it, but like I felt like garbage. I would like go between. I had a real bad case of sniffles, and I had like a handful of tissues in my pocket because my nose kept dripping. And I went to go like shoot these, and I'm like, it's not that bad, I promise.
I forgot you were sick.
To fly. I was so sick.
You don't sound sick in the scenes though. Like now, I'm trying to remember.
I think I like hit it pretty well, but I remember like I would just have to sit down in between takes because I felt so bad. It was awful, and I was like, "Here we go, home now." Also, the big red-haired guy, his name is Corvus. I saw a question that was asking about it.
Oh, someone asking about that?
What was the name of the big red-haired guy in Red Right Hand whose girlfriend was constantly embarrassed? That's Corvus.
The big red hair.
That is Corvus. He is great. He is so funny.
I'm not gonna lie. I casted him as the red herring because he has. Yeah, I mean, like it's a little on the nose. I was wondering if anyone would have gotten that or not. Like the guy with the long red mane, like he's the red hair. Yeah. Oh. But Corvus was excellent to work with. He's just so funny. He's another guy that like perpetuates a lot of positive energy. And I don't know. It was every shoot with him was just like fantastic. 10 out of 10. Always a great time. We have a few more questions too that I wanted to bring up as well. First of all, Matt, what was your name in the movie?
What was my character's name?
Yeah.
I was David. I think it was. What was it? David Lane.
Connor, what did you say? Wait, Connor, what did you say?
We're quizzing him.
What was your name?
What was the 37th frame of Red Right Hand? What did that look like? No, I'm just kidding. His Matt's, so it's confusing. Matt here, or over here, I should say, his name was David in the movie. He also plays Devil Ghostface, but the other killer's name is also Matt, named after Matthew Lillard, which, trust me, got confusing on set every single day.
Oh, it's deeper than that, too, because like Noah plays Matt, the character Matt, but the character Matt is secretly Devil Ghostface, who is played by me, the real life Matt.
The real Matt.
Plays another character named David. Really confusing.
So that I thought just bringing that up would be really funny. And also, Matt, I'll throw this to you because you were the one that pushed for the Dead by Daylight stuff. What was the main idea, inspiration for a Devil Ghostface?
Okay, so first and foremost, I think I really like the idea of there being like variant ghost faces. That's something that's been like a Fun World staple for a really long time, is that they would do different ghost face masks and do them for different like Halloween events and stuff. And that's something that they never did in the Scream movies. And I'm like, that's kind of a missed opportunity to have like some kind of like evolved ghost face. One of my big inspirations for it, honestly, was sort of like the idea of like Uber Jason in Jason X, where it's like, oh, it's Jason, but it's like super Jason, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I think it would be cool if we had a ghost face. We played with the idea of, in the proof of concept, Jamie is this really inexperienced, really sloppy ghost face. And we thought it would be really cool if he went up against a professional ghost face. All the ghost faces in all the Scream movies do have sort of a bit of sloppiness to them, you know? They're not like serial killers, you know what I mean? They're sort of like people who just decided to start being serial killers, you know what I mean? And the Dead by Daylight version of Ghostface in the lore of Dead by Daylight is touted as this really calculated, very like one step ahead of everybody type of serial killer. And I'm like, it would be really cool if we had our Ghostface go up against like a legit serial killer, just to show Jamie how he has no idea what world he just stepped into. He thinks he's making a movie and that he's going to get famous, but he made himself a serial killer, and he doesn't yet know how big of a mistake that is. It's honestly crazy. If Jamie's plan had succeeded and he had actually made his movie and released it, he would go to prison for the rest of his life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like,
he was going to prison no matter what. You know?
That's like one of the funniest things, like in hindsight.
Yeah.
Connor, then Maya, I want to ask you guys about Devil Ghostface. What do you like? What are your thoughts on Devil, like having basically two slasher villains in the same movie, and you're literally following one, and then also there's one like looming in the background? Connor, I'll go to you first, and then I want to hear Maya's thoughts as well.
Well, it's kind of the same thing. This like familiar idea with a new twist. It was like, because the whole thing with Right Handed, you followed the two killers around, and then there's a third killer now. So now these two killers, they're kind of throwing the same boat that the regular like teenage cast is. Those group of characters. I just thought it was a really interesting dynamic that now, Jamie thinks he's top of the food chain, thinks he's the shit, and then all of a sudden here comes another Ghostface, and now he's not on top of the food chain anymore. And how he kind of reacts to that whole situation. I just thought it was really interesting how that plays out in the movie. He's kind of like, you see it, he's already insane, but he loses it even more. The whole dream sequence and shaving your head, which I just want to tell this little funny story. When Jake first told me about Red Right Hand, and he showed me the first like full draft of it, and I saw there's a part in there where I'm like, oh, Jamie shaves his head so he could buy like a wig or something. And you look me dead in the eye and say, no, I'm shaving my head. We're doing it in one take. Yeah, I mean, it's dedication is, but the whole dynamic of how Jamie reacts to Devil Ghostface, I thought was really interesting how it plays out.
I loved first
He's
seeing
like jealous
him
of him.
after he shaved his head. I was like, you actually did it, huh?
He did.
I think nobody believed me until I did it. Like everyone was like, "Okay, yeah, you're not really gonna do it, dude." And then it's
And then
like,
he actually did the mad laugh.
Yeah,
my
He
hair's
did
all
it.
patchy and shit.
wore a beanie like every day afterwards and like hid the fact.
Every video, every live stream. I went to a horror convention then too, and I wore a hat
Yeah.
the entire time. Like someone actually asked me to take the head off for a photo, and I'm like, I can't,
No.
dude. I can't say why, but I can't. Like, I'm sorry, bro. But Maya, I'll throw that to you as well. Like, do you like that? Like, you could say no, you won't offend me. But fuck that shit. That's awful. What are your thoughts on
I
Kill?
always like when movies kind of have like a dual serial killer thing going on, or like when video games do it too, where it's like who's like actually the villain, who's like behind the scenes, like what's going on here. And I also I don't know, I like the idea of one being chased by the other, and then he shows up like, hey.
That is what happened. I mean, that's basically what happened.
Yeah, he slides in. But I like the dichotomy of it, and like him showing up in the nightmare scene. I don't know. I always like when there's like two serial killers in a movie or a video game. I think it just makes things more interesting.
Fish meet bigger fish, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I know from like Drew's perspective, she's like, "Oh, my crush is a killer. Oh my God, there's another one. There's two of them. There's two of them. Oh my God, another one."
But to add more to Devil Ghostface and like why specifically we picked him to be in the movie at all is, from the beginning, Jake and I were saying that like, one of the big appeals of the Scream movies is always the mystery factor. And if we know who the killers are from the beginning of the movie, that does kind of ruin some of the mystery factors. So we're like, well, how cool would it be if there was like another serial killer who's even more crazy and even more evil? Debatably more evil than Jamie. That's but it was something that it was like, now the ghost faces have to uncover the identity of this scarier ghost face, and I think that was a cool angle to take. Another thing that you'll notice throughout the dialogue in the movie is that Jamie, of course, is the overly obsessed stab fan, but he is different from a lot of the other stab obsessed characters in the Scream movies because he is not aware of any of the real life history associated with it. He is strictly a movie fan. He doesn't care about any of the real life history. On the flip side, you have Devil Ghostface, who doesn't care about any of the Hollywood adaptations. He is very interested in the true crime aspect of the Ghostface killings, the real things
Opposites.
that took place in the Scream movies, the actual Scream events. And I think that creates a really cool it's a really cool contrast between the two characters. And just to see that Jamie doesn't know anything. And I think when Matt discovers that Jamie doesn't believe in the actual real events of the Scream movies, he's like, okay, this guy's actually a moron. I can take advantage of him. This is going to be fun. And yeah, for the whole movie, that is really what Ghostface's motive is. He just wants to see the world burn, and he wants to play with his victims, and he's like, Jamie is going to be very entertaining for me to fuck with. That's what he does for the whole movie, and you know what? It's great. I love it. He's an agent of chaos.
And, you know, I want to throw something else out there, too. A criticism of the film that came afterwards was like, Jake, you've been talking about wanting to do a different motive for Ghostface, and then you kind of just did Richie's motive. And, dude, trust me, that's something I was thinking about the entire time writing Jamie. I'm like, oh, is this too Richie? But I feel like because you have that duality of Devil Ghostface in there, that makes it something new. It's less about the, like, focusing in on the one character. It's more about the relationship that you have with these two characters on screen together who are actively fighting each other, and Jamie doesn't even realize he's literally working with the guy. He's sitting right next to him. That's how dumb he is. I think that Richie's an idiot in Scream 5, but I think that Jamie's an even bigger idiot. You know what I mean? We wanted to portray him as like the dumbest Ghostface ever and just revel in that, have a fun time with that idea, while also showing you the smartest Ghostface. Jamie and Devil Ghostface are two ends of a spectrum, is how I like to look at it, that have come together now and are forced into the same medium. And I thought that was so fun to play around with, because we always, on this page, you know, we always talk about like who's the best Ghostface for whatever reason. Everyone has like reasons for like, you know, Roman's the best Ghostface because he masterminded the whole thing. From Maya, I'm so sorry, I'm spoiling this whole thing. I'm spoiling the movies for you.
I'm not gonna remember it.
I won't tell you which movies they're the killer. So there you go. But point being is, like, we always talk about like why these killers are the best for whatever reason. Everyone has a different reason, and I loved that. So I wanted to find like what were the worst what were reasons that people hated Ghostface, and then just like throw that all into Jamie and just make a character.
And yeah, it makes a compelling character. I think with that said, I have a question for you, Jake.
Yeah.
What do you think about some of the, you know, if you're talking about drawing comparisons between Red Right Hand and Scream 5, how about comparisons between Red Right Hand and Scream 6? Some of the stuff that we saw when we went to see Scream 6 in the theater, there were a few similarities, but I'm going to let Jake take the stand on that one.
I don't want to come off as I got to word this carefully, because
my idea first.
Yeah, I don't want to say that, right? Listen, here's all I'm gonna say. The Radio Silence people, they follow me on Twitter. No, I'm so kidding. I'm fuck. No, see, like I'm stepping out of bounds here. No, when me and Matt saw Scream 6 opening night, we were both freaking out. We're like, oh my God, they're doing Red Right Hand for $35 million. This is crazy. This is so exciting. Of course, that's just condensed into the opening scene, but it's like, listen, I'm not going to say that they were inspired by Red Right Hand. I'm not going to say that, but there are elements of that opening scene for Scream 6 that I'm like, this is very similar to our movie. This is weird. This is crazy. I felt honored. I really felt honored in that moment. I'm not saying that was what happened, but man, it was almost hard to deny after watching that movie for the first time. That's all I'm
crazy
saying.
Too, because I remember when we did the proof of concept, the same thing happened with Scream 5, where it's like, oh, we're predicting that they're going to do Stab 2021, and it's not going to be a numbered sequel, and they did that in Scream 5, and it was ridiculous. Everybody was like, oh, it's the metal Ghostface with the flamethrower, and I'm like, wow, that's really weird. And then also it was like in Scream 6 when the movie opens and it's a Ghostface killing another more amateur Ghostface, and he says, I don't give a fuck about the movies. And
dude,
I'm like,
it's weird. It's like, whoa, they're doing Red Right Hand. Like, I literally thought I was like, oh my God, like, is this just gonna be a $35 million version of our fucking fan film? Like, that's literally what happened. Like, just in the first fucking 20 minutes of Scream 6, I was like, no way, this is insane.
There's a character in the movie named Danny.
And there's a character in the movie named Danny.
So bad.
Dude, and my theory for Scream 6 was like they're gonna do Devil Ghostface, just like from Dead by Daylight. They're gonna incorporate it. It's gonna be Danny. That's not what ended up happening, of course, but it was still just. I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is surreal, dude. This is so fucking weird. Maya, you gotta watch Scream 6. That's all I'm saying. It's weird. Like, you're gonna shit your pants. It's so weird. We have 2 more questions, and I do gotta wrap up the stream. I don't want to keep you guys here all night, but I do appreciate all 3 of you for joining me tonight. Thank you.
Sure.
A couple questions. These are really good questions, so I really want to get to these. ABCDE is saying, what was the inspiration for the whole dream sequence? It feels like it should be a Nightmare on Elm Street fan film. Well, maybe some inspiration there. I'll throw it to everyone else before I throw my 2 cents in there. This was my baby, I gotta be honest, but I'm curious what everyone else has to say about the dream sequence.
Ew. I remember when Matt showed me the grossy scene, and I just had a perpetual look of disgust on my face. I was like, nice.
Nice.
I love trippy visuals. I love weird scenes in movies. 2001: A Space Odyssey is one of my dad and I's favorite movies, even though it makes no sense. You just don't understand it. No, I love weird trippy visuals, and that one especially. I was watching, I'm like, this is good. This is really good. But yeah, also because I'm a big fan of practical effects, especially when they're just real nasty like that.
There's so much to unpack with that scene.
There's so much to unpack.
I'll be honest, it's my favorite scene in the movie. I think
is.
that is like the standout. Like that scene could be presented on its own with like no other context, and I think it would stand on its own as a standalone short film. I have to appreciate all of the work that went into like engineering the prop.
Yeah.
A lot of digging. We dug a big hole to make that happen.
I remember when Jake was giving me some ideas for the script, like we had a general outline, but then he was telling me, I got some more ideas. Now that we're doing a feature, I can do some weird stuff. I'm like, what do you mean by weird stuff?
Elaborate.
Like, Earth vagina.
Hear me out.
And James sticks his hand, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I remember when you guys were first telling me about that. You're like, yeah, because Jamie doesn't know much about women, and so we're gonna have like an earth vagina, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And I had like an image in my head of what it would look like, and then I actually saw the thing, and I was like, oh.
You didn't know it was gonna have googly eyes on it, right?
No, I didn't know it would be that. And then he's like, yeah, there's gonna be stuff spurting out of it. I'm like, okay, cool. And then Old Faithful burst forth, and I was like,
like a geyser.
I was like drowning in it. Like I was literally like, like it was shooting out my nostrils.
I was like,
And it looked really gross in the movie, but it was actually like, what was like chocolate milk and
it was
oatmeal.
chocolate milk and like oatmeal.
That's
and
some weird,
The oatmeal was bad
ungodly
because,
concoction.
yeah, there were like little chunks on Jake when it was over. It had like little bits, and I'm like, that's
the picture
wonderful.
of me afterwards is so funny. I'm just covered in
so
oats, and like my shirt is stained red. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so tired, guys.
The thing I love about that scene.
Same day I shaved my head too. Like I shaved my head, then we did that. Like it was just like
zero pussy does to a motherfucker.
Super stressful shoot. We were really scrambling to get out because we had a set time we were doing the earth vagina stuff. And Jake was like, well, we gotta shave my head and we gotta do all these scenes where the head is shaved before it. We did like the shower scene, like where like it was just the two of us, and we had to like set the microphone stand in weird places to get it to work. I had to be careful not to drop anything. And that was all like, oh my god. And then we get to the actual place where we're filming it, and I see that Greg has this like pump system set up, this really elaborate setup. I gotta give him props for getting that to work. It looked incredible. I think when Jake was getting sprayed by the actual
Viscera.
discharge,
Don't call it that.
Don't say that.
don't say that.
Don't
please.
say that.
I thought it was really funny how like realistically there are scenes where he pulls his head out of it and he's safe, but then he just puts his head back. Right
Yeah, I know. I was watching that. Like he's like, okay, back in.
if you watch it again, I'm actively taking air and then going back in the whole. It's so ridiculous, but yeah,
He's like, oh, it actually tasted pretty good, and he goes right back.
it was chocolate. It was chocolate. Like it tasted delicious. It was, which is such a gross thing to say.
No, yeah, the first time watching that, I was like, huh, cool.
You're like, I'm really starring in this movie. Wow, this.
I'd be in this movie.
Oh, God. If you think it was bad for you, Jenna was on set. She witnessed the whole thing.
Oh no, that poor girl.
So, real quickly, I want to throw it to Connor. Connor, what were your thoughts on the Grussy?
That's a question.
I just remember the first time you showed me it. I think I said it earlier, but you texted me and you're like, I have something I need to show you. And you showed me the fully edited scene of that. And you sat there in your chair with this big grin on your face, watching you get sprayed with this ungodly concoction that you got pumped from this well. It's like,
Yeah.
There's words that I wanted to use to describe it, but
Religious experience.
it's one of those things you watch it and then you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
No matter what happens with our
that was the goal.
Friendship working together in the years to come, I'm always gonna in the back of my head see you as my friend that got waterboarded pretty much by whatever that is. But again, another practical Greg Yucum effect that helps us stand out.
I hope he's proud of that.
Oh,
I think he is. There's no
he has
way
it hung up. He has it hung up at his work. I don't know if you guys know that.
Ah!
It's it's on the wall.
Really?
Yeah, it's literally just
Here's the Grussy I made.
Sarah, I'm looking at the chat. Sarah says, I don't think I could sit next to my parents in the theater if they had to watch me show. You know what? I had to watch that with my parents in the theater, too.
I had to watch it with my parents in the theater, dude.
They knew
I
about it.
watched it with my parents in the theater, so
My parents weren't there.
That's maybe a good thing. I'm not gonna lie, but I do just want to I want to talk about this because this is the thing that I probably had the biggest questions about. They're like why is that in there? I don't get it. It's supposed to symbolize Jamie's whole thing about sexism. He's actively being a sexist to Drew the entire time. He's belittling her, being super condescending. I mean, he boops her on the nose and says, "You're so cute," like she's a dog or something. That's upsetting.
You mean
That's so fucked up. Oh yeah, Darjan. Yeah, Darjan technically does that, right? So I wanted to capture that in in a way where I wasn't just straight up saying it. There was a scene that I had in mind beforehand before I came up with it, where I was where Christian confronts Jamie and goes on a rant about it, and then he just kills him. That was supposed to be what happened there. And I'm we can do something more interesting. You know what I mean? Because we have to talk about this in some way. But what if we did it visually with something more A24 and fucking weird? That was kind of. And I'm not gonna lie, Nightmare on Elm Street was absolutely an inspiration for it. The one death, I can't remember who it is, but the girl gets killed in bed. She gets sucked into, or it's the guy, I think, gets sucked into the bed, and all the blood geyser shoots out. That was absolutely. It was. You're right. It's one of the first kills. No, is that Johnny Depp?
Yeah, it's Johnny Depp because he gets sucked into the bed.
Oh my god, I haven't seen it in that
it's
long.
like the upside down room, right?
Yes, yeah. And
right.
they just sprayed all the blood. That was absolutely the inspiration for it. And that's another Wes Craven property. I'm another great way to pay homage to the guy, So it was that, and I also think him, the idea of him getting stuck in a literal vagina in his dreams. It's that. Yeah, it's all right there. It's super gross and in your face, but it's the metaphor. It's the visual. It's supposed to say he knows that deep in his brain, but he's not doing anything about it because that's just Jamie. He's a static character. He doesn't learn, and that's what leads to his death. So I don't know. I just wanted to do that in a way that was better than dialogue. Christian's character kind of gets to that a little bit in his dialogue between him and Drew, but I just thought it would be cooler, I guess, to do it this way. So that was what that's what I'm trying to say there, I guess is my point. But Connor, were you saying something, man?
Oh, no, I wasn't.
Oh, I thought I cut you off there.
Okay.
I was saying that I think every element of that scene came together in such a beautiful way. It was definitely there's a lot of A24 inspiration, specifically the lighthouse for me was a big point of inspiration for that scene.
I love that movie.
Color graded in a specific way. Something we played around with a couple times in the movie was with the aspect ratio.
Yes.
I think aspect ratio is a great narrative device for Red Right Hand. All of the regular scenes are shot in theater cinematic, which is like this weird long aspect ratio. It has decimals in it. I don't know what it is. But it's close to 16:9. It's close to your regular like YouTube video. Every scene that's found footage is like zoomed in. There's like a huge black border around the whole thing to give you a found footage look. The scene with Devil Ghostface, it goes anamorphic and it becomes widescreen. You get the big black bars come in because he's more of a traditional killer than Jamie is. So it's kind of like this is more of a movie scene. And then when we go into his dream, we get pillar boxes and it goes 4x3 in it. I just think that was a cool narrative tool that we were able to use. I also love when the pillar boxes show up, you see them like squeeze in. Like Jamie is trapped in his own nightmare.
I think that's my favorite shot of the whole movie. When he's walking and like just the pillars come up. I love
that shot. I mean, I modeled the poster after that shot because I thought it was the most prominent shot in the movie. Like this is literally Jamie's psyche incarnate, and that is what this whole movie's about. And the score, Andrew's score during that whole scene is incredibly haunting, and I love it. It's my favorite thing he's ever composed.
And speaking of which, all of the music from the movie is on this page. I posted it back in January, but it's all on there. The end credits song, Notorious by Part 2, my brother's band, that's on here too. Everything. It's all in the Red Right Hand folder, or playlist, I should say, on this page. So if you want to listen to any of the music, it's all there. Check it out. It's really cool stuff. One last question, and I promise I'll let you guys go. Once again, I really do appreciate all three of you joining me tonight and just reminiscing on the past, and all that.
It's a pleasure.
So thank you again, guys. Really does mean a lot. Infinite Sky is asking us, who was the girl in the scene where Jamie was staging a mock audition for a role and he's holding a real knife before stabbing the wannabe actress? Matt, do you want to take that one?
Oh, that's Jenna. Yeah, I don't even think it's right to call her a wannabe actress. It's more like she needed $40 and Jamie had $40. Jamie is more of a wannabe director than anybody else.
Yeah, it's Jenna. Yes.
I actually think Jenna did a really, really good job. I think her acting was superb, and I think it's just a shame that she wasn't in the movie more. I remember originally she said that she had a lot of scheduling conflicts, so we gave her a small role so she could still be a part of it. I'm just hoping that at some point in the future we can work with her again and we can give her a bigger role. I think she really deserves that. But yeah, it was a really uncomfortable scene, but I'll be honest, it was the smoothest shoot of the entire movie. She was so competent in what we were trying to accomplish for that scene. We got the whole thing done in like 40 minutes, and it came out really good.
Imagine.
So I got to give her credit where credit's due, for sure. She killed it.
And I want to say about this scene too is it once again plays into those themes of Jamie being a sexist. You know what I mean? This is we never. He's a weird dude. He's a weird little guy. We wanted to. I think the reason it starts with that to me is because once again it plays into the themes of sexism and Red Right Hand. Like his first kill is a woman. You know what I mean? And like then what happens to him in the dream? She's there. Holding his shoulders, and like you get the idea that maybe it's her doing all this awful shit to him in his own subconscious. Like she's implemented into his brain because that was his first kill. So I don't know. I think that's kind of where the impetus was there to kind of throw that at the very beginning of the dream sequence, like where it starts. I think it just made the most sense. That was supposed to be like the opening of the movie, I think.
Yeah, originally.
But it just made more sense to put it there.
I think the idea is that like all of these women that he's killed are like Jamie's looking for his final girl, and it ends up being Drew, and he kind of doesn't want it to be Drew, but due to the events of the movie, it kind of happens that way. And Jamie's not a good person.
I almost forgot, Connor, you wrote this scene.
Yeah, well, it was me and you texted me one day during wherever you're writing the scene. You're like, hey, you want to give me a hand with this? I'm trying to touch this up a little bit, and that was just actually really got me into like more into writing, because it was just for that little scene to tell that little story in that scene, which is so fun. Just huddle up in one room talking about ideas and brainstorming stuff. But yeah, that is my the few lines that survived to the final cut. Those are my tiny little minuscule writing credits to Red Right Hand, and I'm proud of it.
We couldn't have done the scene without you, dude. I mean, oh my god! To me, it enhances the dream sequence so much. That off-screen, like her scream and stuff. It's like it's creepy. You know what I mean? It's eerie. I love
you're
it.
just sitting there drinking your half. It's pretty much like all watered down Taco Bell Baja Blast. In the lighting, it's so creepy.
The amount of Mountain Dew in this movie is upsetting.
Yeah.
Every bodily fluid, almost every Mountain Dew. It's gross. It's a gross.
There
one.
is one question I think we can all quickly answer, and it's by ABCDE. It's what's everyone's favorite scary movie?
Oh hell yeah! Maya, you posed the question. What's your favorite scary movie?
I have two. My first one is Ridley Scott's Alien.
Great choice.
It is kind of what got me into sci-fi horror. I love sci-fi horror, and John Carpenter's The Thing. I love practical effects, and I love the kind of dark comedy in that movie as well. And it's a very fun watch, but also upsetting.
Two of the best horror movies ever, in my opinion. Like so good. Great choices. Matt, what's yours?
One of them is Alien, so I share that opinion with Maya. The other one is the original Evil Dead.
Nice.
I just absolutely love the. It's a classic. It's very gross, and it's a descent into madness, and I'm always a fan of those. As you can see in Red Right Hand, I am a fan of the descent into madness genre of horror.
Building on that, my two favorites, Alien. It's I love all the Alien movies except for Resurrection. I don't like that one.
Fair.
Yeah, fair.
You don't like the human alien, bro? What?
How can you not love that? And but the second favorite is The Shining. Again, I love like more psychological mess with your head stuff. And there's a reason people still talk about that movie, even today. It's just there's so much mystery and intrigue behind it. And Jack Nicholson's just so creepy in that movie.
He is.
Oh yeah. My chat listens to me talk a little too much because they already know what my answer is. I love The Fly. The Fly it's a perfect horror movie. I love every second of it. Practical effects, once again, are just so...
I think I saw like a behind the scenes of the like practical effects. It's like a 7-stage, like different costumes. And I'm like,
it's so intense with the practical effects. Jeff Goldblum's like transformation, that entire movie is disgusting. That was
so gross.
Yeah, yes. I'm not gonna lie. The relationship between Gina Davis and Jeff Goldblum in that movie was a big inspiration for Drew and Jamie. Like just this guy turning into something so evil and it's out of anyone's control. That maybe there was some love or care there at one point, but it's just. That's out the window because this other awful thing is unfortunately happening out of people's control. It's terrifying. It's terrifying. I love that movie so much. I think anything I write just moving forward will always have some kind of romance angle to it for that reason. The Fly, it hit, I watched it at a young age. It fucked me up. And I just
Alien.
yeah, okay, dude, that jump scare in Alien when it pops out at the one time, I have never been so scared in my entire life watching that at a young age. That was terrifying. Ooh.
For me, it was all the cat jump scares, and then I told myself I would eventually
good.
get a fat cat, and I can't name him Jonesy. I think his name was
from the movie. Hell yeah, nice.
I have an orange cat named Clover, but he's not the same orange.
Oh, all right, hey, that's still cool though. We love it. We love to see it. Before we sign off here, I do just want to say, does anyone have some final remarks? We'll start with Maya and we'll just go around.
This was my first kind of acting gig, if you will. I have done like some very, very minor voice acting and some like theater stuff as well, but this is my first time actually being on camera, and I had a ton of fun. I made a lot of friends, obviously, through it. And I just had an absolute blast, and it was the highlight of my summer.
Yeah, when I was asked if I wanted to be a part of it, I pretty much said yes immediately because I saw how many people behind it just had so much love and passion for what they wanted this to be. And this is also my first time on any kind of film set. I think the great thing about it was, we didn't know what we were doing. There's no book to how to make a movie. So, and with the budget we had, we kept coming up with creative ways and thinking outside the box. And it was just a very fun experience. I wouldn't trade it away for anything, even with all the frustration, headaches, maybe not having a movie 20 minutes before the weird thing. It was an awesome experience, and it's something I'll never ever forget.
Yeah, and I think for me, very similar to how Connor sees it. You know, obviously there were a lot of moments in there where Jake and I were under a lot of stress. There were things that you could describe as a shit show, but it's like it kind of shaped me into who I am now, and I have such a deep appreciation for this craft and an appreciation for anybody who goes through grassroots efforts. Everything that we learned it's going to help us in many ways, and all of the people that we met. You know, I made a post earlier. I was saying that like all the friendships that were kindled throughout the production of Red Right Hand, that's going to be the important stuff. That's the stuff that's going to last a lifetime. All the skills that we've learned, all the things that, you know, all the creativity that we've been able to share with this. I think at the end of the day, that's going to be the really important takeaway. Like I said before, I think it's fruitless to stress over the nitty gritty of what we could have done better, or, you know, like I said, it was our first movie. There was something that Andrew told me. He couldn't make it to the premiere, but I had a call with him the day after, and he told me something I'm never going to forget, is that there are so many people that want to make movies. 99% of people who want to make movies don't try to make movies. A lower percentage than that actually make movies. We made a movie, we released it in the theater. That's something to be incredibly proud of. And I'm happy to have been a part of it, and I'm happy to have shared this experience with everyone around me.
As am I.
Now, thanks, guys. That, damn. I'm gonna get all emotional. You guys are the best. Listen, I said it at the premiere, and I remember just like, I don't know. I remember just being so emotional and just saying like to you guys, like, thank you for, this is just a little weird pipe dream. I've always wanted to make a movie. I've always wanted to do this. And, you guys brought it to life. Everyone who worked on it worked their asses off to the point where there was sacrifices made to make this thing happen, and everyone did that. I mean, Matt was calling people like the day of the shoot to come help because we were like, oh my god, like I forgot we needed like another person or something, and people came out and did that, and I'm forever grateful. I really am. I don't know how we did it. It was a miracle, just to say the least, and I'm so thankful for every single one of you. So thank you guys.
The movie definitely helped with my confidence of being on camera.
Absolutely.
And just kind of being more confident in myself too. Good.
That's wonderful to hear. That's fantastic stuff.
I feel like I can make things happen with my friends and have people, you know, I can help people pursue what it is they want to do, because we took something that we had little experience in and we just said, let's just do it, you know? And it happened.
It did.
Yeah, and it's something no one could take away from any of us, that, you know, we made a full-length feature film and had a whole theater premiere for it. Like, you know, who can say that?
Yeah, you know? Yeah. Damn. I mean, it was a blast, guys, and I'm so thankful for it. I don't know. I hope we're able to do it again at some point.
Absolutely. I've told Matt I am 100% on board with it, whatever project you need me on.
Hell yeah, absolutely. It's, oh my god, I don't even know what to say. Like, thank you guys so much for joining me for the 1 year anniversary. It's been a blast talking with all of you again. Seriously, thank you.
Jake, I do have one more thing to share. A special little piece of key art that I prepared for the occasion. I didn't share that before we go.
Yeah, yes, we got to throw it up. Maya, we've done an update on some stuff. For you specifically, this sums up the entire movie with a brand new piece of artwork from Matt Shaw.
I fucking know. For context, I do a really good Toad impression.
Can you give us a little taste of that right now before we sign off?
What do you want me to say?
Do some Drew lines. Do some Drew lines.
It's a goddamn horror show!
Hey, there we go. We love to see it. Matt sent me this earlier, and I was cracking up. That's so
amazing.
Funny.
I'm like, it's either going to be a bird or Toad.
tried to make him hold the knife the way Ghostface would, and then I realized
He's a shy guy. He can't really do
he
that.
doesn't
you
have
know?
fingers, so I thought a comically large knife would be really funny.
Oh my
That's
god.
amazing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for joining us tonight out there in the chat. Really appreciate you guys. Some great questions from the chat as well. Thank you so
Agreed.
much. Some great stuff. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully we're able to bring you something else in the future. So thank you so
Yay.
much. Watch Red Right Hand. Check it out if you haven't seen it. And as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all. Peace out.